What's up, everybody? Trent Denson here with another awesome episode of the Spread the Positive podcast. Got a really, really cool guest with us today, man. Super pumped about this one. Mr. Judd Armstrong from Australia, coming to us live from Utah right now. Just got some really cool stuff going on. He was actually the founder of Jaybirds headphones and has done some really amazing stuff since then. And just a serial entrepreneur out here doing some amazing work and really trying to leave his legacy to build up the entrepreneurial generations to come and all that, man. So Judd, man, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Trent, thanks, man. It's good to be here. We got so much to talk through. Let's dive right into it.
Yes, sir, man. I'm pumped about this one. This is this big shouts to Interview Valet too, because this is amazing. So yeah, man, how we typically do it, we like to take it all the way back. What was young Judd like? What was he into? Early passions, anything along those lines?
Oh, mate. Well, I grew up on the beaches of, first of all, Sydney, Australia. Then we moved up to Queensland.
Nice.
It's kind of like the San Diego of Australia. It's really warm and lots of beaches, but being Australia, there's there's much less people there.
Right.
We have 25 million people in Australia in total, and it's a continent the size of the States. So you got these pristine beaches, and I learned how to surf growing up. And really the only reason I got into it was because of peer pressure. It's hard, man. Surfing, if you've ever tried to surf, it is so hard.
Yeah.
Like just trying to paddle and try to duck dive through waves to get out is a skill in on itself. And then you get out there and you got to battle 50 other guys for the waves.
Man,
that's
not my speed. I need my feet going this way. Anytime my feet are going this way, it's trouble. Like I can ski, I can rollerblade, whatever. But when I start going sideways, it gets weird.
Well, you know what? The peer pressures often has a negative connotation, but for me, it was a positive one. It got me into surfing, and it's been a lifelong passion ever since. But something that I learned out of surfing on that point is oftentimes there's this one spot that is breaking perfectly from everyone's perspective. It's the place where everyone wants to be. All the alpha dogs are there. Everyone else who's trying to get a wave is there. And it's dog eat dog. It's crazy. It's like what you might hear of like a red ocean kind of situation in the entrepreneurship world.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, if you're just a little observant, there'll be a bigger wave that breaks out wide.
Right.
Which first of all makes it more forgiving for a guy who, I'm a larger guy, so I'm not as athletic as some of these shorter, more nimble guys.
Yeah.
So I need a little bit more forgiveness on the takeoff
Yeah.
to get me going. So they're a bit fatter, a bit wider, a bit easier to get onto. But then when they get charging, whoa, man, it's a long, amazing ride. And so I learned early on in life, to catch that wide wave that comes through on occasion, not nearly as often. And there's not many people on it. So that way you're able to like really establish yourself in some kind of unique way. First of all, in the surf. And then in life, I use that principle in a bunch of fun ways that we can.
That's a really cool analogy, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really stuck with me, man. Yeah. So I had this beautiful 1971 Holden Monaro, which is like the Chevrolet SS. It's a muscle car from the 70s.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Absolutely love this car. And then I met my wife to be. Like, she just took my heart, man. And she's American. So I sold my beautiful muscle car for a wedding ring. I went to the States, chased her over to America, and I put that muscle car on her finger, and she's still wearing that Monaro today.
That's a big W right there, man. Congratulations.
And so I started out here in the States without anything but a couple of bags of clothes. I was like 25, and that's all I had. And we lived in a really rough area of town. We had to go to the laundromat to wash our clothes, and I had to hustle real hard to get out of that place in life and to get to a place where we could have like an elevated kind of an existence, and then started to chase more of the purpose kind of thing. So my wife and I, we've been married for 21 years. We've got 4 kids. So it's a good life.
Dude, that's amazing. Man, wow. That's a cool story. Just to get to current life and kind of, all the other stuff you got going on. I know you said, or off the mic, we talked about how you sold Jaybirds in 2016. To Logitech and some other stuff. Like what was the origin of Jaybird and the whole evolution of that process and the exit? If you don't care, just like a quick overview of all that, because it's an amazing brand still to this day, and the following's crazy. And that's you, man. Like that's your baby still. Like they can't, even if you sold it, it's still like what you absolutely created. So that's an amazing thing, and it's something that, you know, from you know, a newbie or just trying to really create something that has that type of following. Like, I just love to hear kind of the process that went through with all that.
Oh man, thanks. That's a real flattering intro. Yeah. So if you haven't heard of Jaybird, Jaybird, we led the wireless headphone revolution when we started. If you walked into Best Buy, everything was a wired headphone,
Yep.
and we set out to change that.
Yep.
And we became the third top premium headphone brand in the States beside Beats and Bose. First of the little guys. First of the little guys. But that blew us away, right? That was pretty exciting. And what is really astounding about what happened at Jaybird is that I was the only one funding it. So it was bootstrapped from the beginning. I was broke as we started, and I had sold a business before and made more than $1 million on that. And it all went into living costs, taxes, and getting Jaybird started. Then I was broke again. Like, imagine how that makes you feel. Like, you think, oh, I've made it. No, I haven't made it. And the only goal at the start of Jaybird was simply this. See, I was trading stocks and options at the time. I was thinking, oh, I'll do this for a living. And on the side, I'm like, I want some wireless headphones. They don't exist. Secure fit, miniaturized, look decent, fashionable, sound epic. Yeah. Stay on your ear no matter what. Good for sports, good for sweat, good for outdoor adventure. There was nothing in existence. This is 2005 when I started work on this. And my only goal was to be able to just sell a few on Amazon to make up my cost. That was it. Wow. That was the embryo. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, yeah. And, you know, as you know, you're like, you're in commercial real estate, and, you know, you make your first deal. You think, whoa, that's cool. Yeah. I just did that. Well, what else can I do? Right. So that's the evolution. So eventually it ran to, man, let's become like Nike one day.
Yeah.
And, it was, sure. We're kind of a household name, Jaybird, nowadays, but if I'd stuck with it, then I would make sure that it would be everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It was really exciting. And it was fun because we changed a sacred moment in everyone's day. You know, when you need that escape, you go have your workout, or you go have your mountain biking session, or your trail running session. That's a sacred moment of your day. Mm-hmm. You get to get away from all the noise, get away from all the stress, all the clutter, and you get clarity.
Yeah.
It's a very special place. And we were able to elevate that and make that a really new experience for people without a wire. That was really exciting. And even if you don't have Jaybird headphones today, you most likely have wireless earbuds of some kind. And we were able to impact what
that's so crazy, man. I didn't even really put that together either, that it was like the first ones pretty much. That's incredible, man. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations on all of that. And I guess that transitions well into kind of what you've done since Jaybird, and what you got going on now with Unlisted and some of your other ventures. Can you just kind of speak on where you're at with all of that and like the mission?
Well, I tell you what, 10 years of a charge of that nature, it's pretty full on.
Yeah.
Especially when you're funding it all yourself. You don't have anyone else funding it, and you're running it all. And plus you have an awesome family with 4 little kids, and you just want to focus on them, right? So when it was sold, I was so happy, so relieved.
Man, I can't imagine that feeling.
Oh man! So I went and got a farm, which is, you know, like Bluetooth, high tech down to green thumb, low dirt.
I love it, man. That's cool though.
Yeah, I was sitting in a tractor and plowing fields and clearing fields, taking care of cattle, putting in orchards and things, and it was just a really good decompression. It was good for the soul, man. Loved it.
Was that kind of in your plan all along? Sorry to interrupt.
It's a personal thing. Like for me, what is the definition of true freedom and being able to stand independent in these days where you've got agendas in play that are kind of socialist in nature? You've got to be able to stand independent. You need to be able to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, and digits in a bank account may not really matter one day. Banking system's pretty fragile, right? So I wanted to have assets of intrinsic wealth. I wanted to be truly independent, and not only for myself and my family, but for as many people as I can possibly help in that kind of a situation, if that ever happened. So yeah, beautiful independence out there at that farm. We really, really love it. But while I was sitting on a tractor, I'd be thinking about my trading that I've been doing since before Jaybird, and now trading Bitcoin. I was thinking, this is such an incredible opportunity. It's like a once in a multi-generational opportunity where you have an asset that you can trade that has so much volatility. And I've actually cracked the nut. I've worked out where it pivots, where it turns, where it turns weak, where it turns soft. And I've since 2014, in all of our back testing, our method of trading, which is really simple, it's like 12 trades a year. Like anyone can do it. I can show you how as well with our app, but it doubles money every 6 months. And when you take $5,000 over a few years, that turns into $1 million. That's what it's done historically. I obviously can't promise what will happen in the future, but our track record is very consistent. And that really gets me excited. So my goal is to get just 1,000 people on this app and to change their life, transform their life. At Jaybird, we went to millions of people and transformed a little moment of their day. Here, we're going to go small scale, only 1,000 people. But we're actually going to really go deep in their life and totally turn it inside out, transform it, and make those people truly financially free, and be able to chase more life purpose, be able to chase more good, to work on the greater good, to work on your family, work on your community, whatever it might be. Use your time and your talents serving your life calling and your life purpose, rather than just going to work to pay bills and survive, or work on someone else's dream.
Man, that just gets me fired up, dude. Like, that's first of all, it's amazing that you've done all that. You know how to do all that. You have the foresight to plan for that. And dude, I gotta take a second. Like, that's some powerful stuff, man. And just like your whole that's one of the biggest things with Spread the Positive that I've always really pushed, is that bigger picture, community first versus just personal gain and what's in it for you. So man, that's incredible. And obviously, man, let's take it back one step. Like that comes from, or I gotta ask, like, where does that come from? Where does your, just genuinely wanting to build people, be a example of what can be done, like just being a force for good for the right reasons? Because I hate to say it, man, it's a rarity these days, especially with somebody in your position. You did the whole thing, you created a massive brand, exited, could do whatever you wanted, relatively speaking, and you decided to do that. Why did you do that?
Well, when you look at your life, and I've been here, when you look at your life and sometimes you just feel like there's something missing, like there should be more to life than what I've currently got going in my life. And when you look at your aspirations for your life and what you want for your life, you want to be joyful, you want to be fulfilled. And when you look out there today, there's a lot of people who are very content. They're happy with what their life is, but yet there's something missing. They're not entirely fulfilled. They're not overflowing with joy. Why is that? Because we are hard programmed in our DNA, and there's no way around this, to serve with love and to serve the greater good. And there's a great man who quote, his last name is Mann, M-A-N-N, and he said, "We should be ashamed to die until we have done some great cause for mankind and actually elevated and advanced mankind in some way." And that's where you find fulfillment. That's where you find joy. So if you look at your life and you're just kind of feeling like there's something missing, look at what you're doing on a day-to-day basis in your discretionary time. Are you gaming? Are you, going out and shopping? Or are you sometimes looking for ways to elevate and serve using your gifts and your passions? Because your passion, Jay Shetty says, your passion is for you and your purpose is for others. So linking up your gifts, those things that you geek out about, that some people just don't have any interest in, that's a sign there. That's your gift. That's your drive. Use that as a tool to somehow serve the greater good. And you'll be able to look back on your life. And like with these 1,000 people that I'm excited about serving, we already have 100. We just barely started. We have 130 people, already.
So there's still room.
There's still room. Yeah, there's still room for you.
5 stacks and coming right to you. I got 5 stacks coming your way.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So I want to be able to look back on life, and with you, Trent, and with others, and we'll just be like, John, look what we did together.
Right.
And with that money, look what we did.
Exactly, man. That's dang, dude. I got goosebumps. I went from kind of being tired to like nothing matters but like going 1,000 miles per hour right now. But anyway, dude, that is powerful. So amazing and so refreshing, dude. Like it's just, I mean, that's honestly what I've always pictured something similar, in my life, and like what I've really wanted to do at my core is something incredibly similar to what you just said. Like even if, Spread the Positive blows up to be a globally recognized brand and everybody's super down and we're just flushed with cash and everything's perfect. Um, there's still like that. I mean, and Spread the Positive would have that, philanthropic outreach, community first, everything like that. So it might be that. It might be one of your thousand that like really, really does make that big global impact. But man, like I can see myself, or early on I could be like tech something, or financial whiz kid or something where you're just set for life. And just like you said, something would always be missing. Something would, that deep down purpose, the passion, the why, and the reason you wake up in the morning. Like right now, it's I'm still in, unfortunately, like I'm still grinding, I'm still working to like really put all that together. So that is my why, is just like getting to that place. But man, being able to like sit back and quote unquote relax for a second, then have the ability to go do something like you're doing right now with Unlisted. I mean, that's like it, man. That's the biggest win of them all. Like you're really doing it, and it's coming from a place of authenticity and for the greater good. Like you say, I've said that 1 million times on this podcast. Like we're always just trying to get to the greater good, like a better overall society, a better overall collective and we're all ultimately trying to get there. And we get so distracted and caught up in the competition and the missing out and the FOMO and all the stuff like that. But man, it's so refreshing to hear somebody firsthand say, look, man, I've done this. I've experienced that big win, and then I went on and did something that is going to have a crazy lasting impact. And like, man, I'm blown away that you have that, or just having that approach in general is something that's truly amazing, man. Like that's amazing. Thank you for that.
Thanks, man. What's something that really has always stood out to me is how when you look at quantum physics, you put religion and spirituality aside for a moment, which I am spiritual and religious, but you put all that aside. Quantum physics tells us that energy cannot be created or killed.
Yes.
It can only evolve or transform, right? So like heat, sound and heat, the transfer between those things and movement, that's energy just continue to exist. So that means that like if 99.999% of us is actually the energy between particle and matter, and if you take all that out, you're a speck of dust. That means that we are a spiritual, energetic being, right?
Forever. Mm-hmm.
We've always existed. We exist now, and we'll always exist in the life to come, whatever that form that might be, and how you understand that to be, right?
Yep.
So you put all the beliefs aside. We will continue to evolve and exist, and it's not about what we've done in this life. It's who we've become, and who we become is based on our outward focus on others and our love and our giving, our generosity and our gratitude. All that's so important, and so many of us are living just to survive, that we're not really thinking in that way, because I just need a break, man. I just need the weekend every weekend. And that's all I care about right now. But once you get beyond that, once you get financially free, you realize that it's not there. I love surfing. I love doing all kinds of outdoor sports. I'm sure you do as well. What's your favorite sport? What do you like to do to get out?
Basketball or golf.
Yeah, we got to hang out. That's good.
We will.
But if you play that day in, day out, man, I get so bored with that.
Me too.
And there's something more to life. And when you can get financially free, you start to realize there's another layer to life. And I want to help everyone get there.
Yeah. Damn, that's incredible, bro. Like I'm blown away by all this. And I guess, man, we got to take it back. Like, how did you develop that? Like, where did that mindset come from? Like, how do you have that, positive, optimistic, like things are going to be all right. Like I mean, what was instilled at you at a young age? Like, I mean, that's not common. Like, I mean, it's just not common for someone to have that mindset. I don't know how old you are. I mean, you look younger, and it's just like you have wisdom beyond your years and like some stuff that was instilled in you at a very young age that you've lived out on a crazy level. So can you just speak on that a little?
Sure. Thanks, man. I'm 46.
Okay.
And I guess I got a really great mum and dad, right? I was just looking at some statistics on fatherhood, actually. And we probably touch on this a little bit later, so I'll leave that for then. But yeah, parenting is so strong. You know, we actually create our subconscious mind between the age of 0 and 7. And there's one word that we learn in that period. It's either yes or no. Does life have a yes for me, or does life have a no for me, right?
Yeah.
And so I watched my dad. He went to university to be an architect, and then his father died of cancer. So he had to go and take over his father's accounting practice as an accountant. And in that process, he realized, well, I better go get my accounting degree, get my CPA degree, right? So I remember being a little kid in the car, and mum was driving him to school, is what they said, because that's how I understood things. What's a university? They said to school. Yeah. And I said, Dad, why are you going to school? Because I saw, like, you know, when you're that little, I must have been 6 or 7. And I see my big dad who, like, that's like a lifetime away for me to be that age. And he's still going to school. Like, that freaked me out. I'm like, I just started school and this is what I've got for the rest of my life.
Oh, man.
And I said, Dad, why are you going to school? And he said to me, so I can tell people that I've been to school.
Wow.
From his perspective, that made sense. But to a 6-year-old, I'm like, I don't care what other people think. But from an accountant's perspective, he needed that, right? He neted the degree.
Yeah.
So he was trying to put that in my terms, but that blew me away. And for many years, I couldn't understand it. I finally understood it later. And I watched him move out of that. I think he sold the practice, and on a limb, he had this idea, this business idea, and he went and did it.
Nice.
And it succeeded after a lot of struggle, of course, because everything is hard. He struggled for a long time. We struggled for a long time. We had no money for a long time, but then eventually we had, you know, could get some things for the house or whatever. But I guess that taught me the yes, right? There's a yes for everyone in life. And the thing is that what some people learn in those early years, to no fault of their own, is the no. The parents say, oh, you know, we can't afford that, or, you know, don't risk yourself. Just go get a safe job because it's a hard world out there. But, you know, if you expect to be successful, then it shows up in action. If you want to be successful, that just sticks in conversation. It doesn't go anywhere beyond that. But if you expect to be successful, that's what shows up in behavior. That's what shows up in action. And how do you overcome that? Well, all that 0 to age 7 stuff, that's all subconscious programming. And 95% of what we do is driven by our subconscious. Wow. So that comes down to what we're conditioned to believe. How do you overcome that conditioning? Well, it turns out that we rewrite our subconscious twice a day. Once when we wake up, once when we go to sleep. We go through a theta brainwave state, which is the same hypnosis state that we lived in from age 0 to 7. That's why a kid will walk out on the street not even realizing what's going on, because they're kind of like not really fully with it yet. And so we actually tap into that state twice a day. And we actually rewrite and update that subconscious with the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions that we've carried with us through today. So you've already done it. So I've actually got an app, because that's so critical. You can't be successful until you can get over this block that a lot of us have, right? So I've got an app coming real soon called Jump, and it's an affirmation mind movie creation app. It creates 2-minute mind movies, and you watch it to prime your mind just as you wake up and just before you go to bed.
Dude,
with the things you want for your life.
Wow.
I'm excited about that.
Man, that's so cool. Man, yes. That's fascinating. And I've done a fair amount of research on some of that stuff, but just how simplistically you put that is pretty crazy. And the 0 to 7 and the yes or no, like, I'm just thinking of like a Rolodex of friends and acquaintances and people that have, you know, that I can say, like, I was more on that, you know, yes side of things, to say the least. Like, I've been very blessed in my childhood, and forever grateful for that. And my parents, did everything to provide just for me and for both of them. So it's something that I've always been aware of. And just the way you put that, man, that really adds up. And I'm thinking of like some other people that had like a rough 0 to 7, and they probably had to really, really work on switching that no subconscious thing. And it's probably still an ongoing thing for a lot of them. So man, that's some powerful stuff, dude. I'll have to look into that a little more. But anyway, speaking on that just a little more, we always like to ask, I got to know how you start your day. We always like to, go through the tips and routines and, tools in the toolbox per se to switch a negative mindset or being down and out, or, we all have those times in our days that are not so great, but just in general, when you are down and out or really not feeling it that day, what are some of your go-to ways to switch that up? And if you could just speak on how you get your day started too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, we've been talking philosophical so far, so let's get tactical then.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go.
All right. So I got an example for you. This last week, I ran an ad on Facebook. Actually, it was a post that I did, and I thought, I'll just promote this and see how it goes. It was incredible, super positive. And as a promoter, you can actually see any negative feedback. Like if anyone marks it as spam, or I never want to see this again. And I was just getting really passionate about the Jaybird success story, about visualization and the power of that. And then also how I want to help people get financially free as well. But Facebook, they didn't like it. Whatever it was about the wording or the energy, they're like, this guy's a scam artist.
I'm telling you, dude.
Down.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something about the word positive, maybe. I swear, like, it is hard to get anything, like, for them to, if you don't literally go to someone and say, click that you like this, I swear, no. I know you got to pay to play nowadays, but dang, dude, when it's positive and uplifting, I swear it gets suppressed harder than usual. It's sketchy, dude, but go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I've been talking to Facebook, appealing this decision because they shut down my account. And as like, any entrepreneur, anyone who wants to get something going in business, you have to have Facebook. Yep. And they shut down my ad account. And so I've been appealing it, and everyone just gave me the flat, look at the hand. We're not going to talk to you. And they'd even closed the chat on me. They wouldn't even talk to me.
Wow.
And so that was really like, that's brutal. I've been working so hard to get things going to help people out, and they shut me down. And social media is where it's at, right? So that has been a moment of real challenge for me just in the last week or two. And I was quite low a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I went back to one of the pillars that I always go by is you have to get your body going. Like you talk about, any kind of strong public speaker like Tony Robbins or anyone like that, they'll get their energy going. They'll pump up their body. They'll slap their arms, slap their chest, slap their back, jump up and down. Yeah. You got to get energy. You have energy. We're 99.99% energy. So you have to get it going, right? So one of the pillars is working out. You got to work out every single day. But getting tactical, number one is you got to be clear on what's urgent versus what really matters most in your life, right?
Yeah.
That's so important. And that's my sword. Like that really slices through, what should I focus on today? And there's always urgent things, but you got to think about what's going to take me to the next level in 1 year from now. Let me focus on those things first.
Yeah.
And then of course you got to do what matters most first. And that's your shield as well. And then remembering who you are, who you serve, what's your why, that's your compass.
Mm-hmm.
All those, that keeps you centered and keeps you on the right track. For me, spiritual edification, I try to do it every day. I don't often get to it every day, but that's always on top of my mind. You gotta have a spiritual edification of some kind. And then of course, the one that we spoke about before is getting to the gym and working out. So the other day when I was really low, I just went and pumped some iron, and I played some old favorite tunes from when I was 20.
There you go.
Got me going, man. It was good.
all better, man.
Yeah, I was yelling so loud. I was going, ah!
I love it, man. I love it, dude. That's it, man. How do you start your day?
Well, I'm not an early riser so much. It takes me a while to get my body going.
Yep.
So I tend to just wake up when my body is ready to get going. And I find that I've got the right energy that way. If I just have to get up at a certain moment, that's kind of a challenge. So I'll just get going. Normally get going about 7:30.
Yeah.
And I'll go down and grab some breakfast and just think through what really matters today. Let me jump on that first.
Yeah.
But one guiding principle, rather than like a tactical approach, rather a guiding principle for me has been be passionate about the right things.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about the right thing or things in your life, and you got that passion centered and your actions are congruent with that, then you'll always do really well and you'll have a good life.
That's amazing. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, I mean, that's really all it comes down to, man. Just keeping your body active and realizing what's truly important and kind of acting on that and following what makes you feel alive. That's something I've really been focusing on here lately, is just what truly brings me joy will usually, well, let's clarify what brings me constructive productive joy to a certain degree, but just doing the things that make you feel alive and get those endorphins going and truly bring you joy will take you where you need to go more times than not. So I totally agree with all that. Something that's really been becoming more and more clear to me lately is acting on that and not worrying so much about, like you said, the stuff that doesn't matter and the distractions and the drama and the stuff that is designed to, take us away from what is truly important. So man, that's super, super, super spot on, and I appreciate that as well. Another one of the kind of key things we always like to ask our guest, and the kind of key component, core mission of Spread the Positive, is to bring light to what's going right, the good stuff that's happening, things that are, getting us to a better collective, better to the greater good, connecting the community, building people up, all of that type of stuff. So what are some examples you've come across lately, or some things that you find fundamentally true that are going right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, you look at parents and what they do for their children day in, day out. It's quite remarkable to see what a parent does.
Mm-hmm.
It's all selfless, right? Like why would you give up your freedom and your independence and your free time to raise these snotty little brats who don't appreciate what's going on, but they love you. They just love you unconditionally. And what's going great in the world are those families who are working towards that strength in the home. When you have parents who are pulling together and they have the same goals for their children, they have the same ambitions for themselves as a couple, there is so much power in that.
It is.
Like so many of us have to go through this like baggage of relationships that are evolving like a revolving door, right? Because we're not compatible on what we want from life. And it's so important that we're able to save ourselves for that special relationship and to focus and to commit to that relationship, not only in action, but in our heart. Like pornography is a massive thing nowadays. And it's a temptation for every single one of us.
Yeah.
And when we let that embrace our heart and our mind, wow, that can really, really pull our affection to our partner away, right? And so it's really critical that we're focused on parenting. So what's gone right? Parenting, when the family is as a priority to the household, that's when things really, really, really happen. You look at fatherless homes. The statistic is that a teenage girl is 4 times more likely to fall pregnant out of a relationship when there's no father in the home. And of course, the flip side of that is the power of the father in the home, right? Not just for the young man and being a role model for the boys, but for the girls. They need that strength in the home.
Man, absolutely. That's on point. Powerful stuff again. Yeah, just breezing right through, man. Another thing we always like to talk about is just the notion of just, we've kind of already hit on it some, but just the community first aspect. I know we've talked about it, and that kind of transitions from what you just said in the family and how important that is, and just being aware of these things that are working towards the greater overall good. I mean, and a lot of times we're looking for like some really grandiose, big plan, big organization doing big things. But everything you said today has been very, very simple, very easy to implement, and just, stuff that we know for sure does work, and we've literally lost sight of that. So like how in your mind do you think we can get back to just, getting back to the basics to a certain degree? I feel like all of this pandemic stuff has really, really pushed all of us to do that to a certain degree. But how do we get back to like what really matters in
Yeah.
your perspective?
Well, I was thinking on that point just recently. Tom Bilyeu from Impact Theory, incredible guy. So much respect for him. He does so much good work. He did Quest Bar Nutrition, made a ton of money there, and now he's given back. Like, he's atheist, and he still has those same core principles as we all do, right? We all have the same DNA. Whether whatever religious or spiritual belief we have put that aside, we're all programmed to find fulfillment in serving and giving back, and we're all brothers and sisters. So with Tom, like, he was saying how, what, I have loved teaching adults these great principles, but where it's really at, he says, is with children.
Yes.
That's where you really have the greatest impact, right? Yep. And so you just go back to family again. Like, if you're wanting to serve and makes a child incredibly strong and powerful and self-confident, know who they are, know that they have great potential, that there's something special in them and there is greatness in them. You're not going to hear that from anyone, most likely, but a parent or a teacher. So if you're a teacher, you have such a great life purpose in being that. Or whether you're a community member, like someone in the village helping to raise a neighborhood kid or something like that, but most importantly in the home with parents, that's so important. And when we focus in on those children so that they're strong individuals with the right compass, then society goes in the right direction and everyone takes care of one another. It's very powerful.
Man, absolutely. Shouts to Tom Bilyeu. He's definitely a force for good. Definitely everything spread the positive. I've dove into some impact theory for sure. He's the truth. He's definitely the truth, and really, really pushing the narrative of what we need more of. So thank you for that example. Definitely on point there as well. A couple more questions, and just closing up. We always like to ask, being familiar with Spread the Positive now, and kind of the mission of what we're about. Who's somebody in your life that when you hear the phrase "spread the positive," who comes to mind first
off? Back home in Australia, I've got a friend who owns a gym. He owns a gym, and it's his name's Kobe Williams. He's a legend. He's such a great guy, a great entrepreneur. What really stands out with him is that he creates a family environment in this gym. It's not a huge gym. It's a nice boutique style gym with a good sized membership, and all of the guys and girls that work with him, they're all really engaged in what they're doing. They feel a mission and a cause about what they're doing. They're truly wanting to change people's lives and really lift them and elevate them and make them a better person, both physically and mentally and everything. So when I think of someone who is working towards the greater good and really caring about his community and about his membership, this guy goes the extra mile. He's great and really great individual.
That's amazing. Shouts to, did you say Cody or Kobe?
Kobe, yeah.
What up, Kobe? Yeah. Thank you for all you're doing to spread the positive, man. That's what's up. Another final question, man. We always like to ask, we call it the grateful for. 4 things you're most grateful for right now. What you got?
4 things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah,
okay, great.
A little wordplay action.
Well, we can't talk about family so much and then not express gratitude for a great mum and dad. So that's number 1. They got me to age 7 with a yes.
That's big, man. That's big. That's bigger than we know.
I'm a big freedom fighter. I'm a big believer in truly being independent, self-reliant, and loving freedom throughout the world right now, wherever it's at. So freedom is number 2. The great place we live in, we live on a great planet with some great stuff, and I feel true gratitude for that, and a knowledge of who we are. You can truly find that if you don't know who you are, that's what you got to get at right now. That is your number one thing. You got to know who you are, because you won't know your potential until you know who you are.
Man, that is a strong grateful for, man. Love that. Just super. It's one of my grateful fors right now is connecting with you, man. It's an absolute honor to have having this conversation and getting to hear your perspectives on the podcast that I've kind of put together, and just stuff that I literally ask everybody that's on this podcast that means so much to me and helps me get to another place in my mind and stuff to be able to really move forward and all that, man. So I'm beyond grateful for this opportunity, man. Definitely hoping to stay in touch, connect further, getting that top 1,000, man. It would be amazing to be part of the unlisted team and just be a part of what you're building, man, because there's a lot of synergies with every single thing you just said this past 40 or so minutes and everything I'm about, and so many people that are attracted to this spread the positive concept and all the stuff that you got going, man. So first of all, thank you again for everything and for what you stand for, what you've done, what you're continuing to do. It's so inspiring, and dude, I'm honored to have had this opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. We'll go ahead and jump off here, man. Where can people find you? Go ahead and plug anything you got going and where people can find you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you can check my website out at juddarmstrong.com, JUDD Armstrong.com. I'm on Instagram as well. I've been a farmer for a while, so I'm just getting started.
Hey,
so if you want to be one of my first followers, come check me out at Instagram at juddarmstrong.com.
I know, 800 people. I'm like, okay. And then,
you'll get to everything that I've got going at those two handles, the Instagram and the website. Yeah.
Cool, man. I'll be sure to have all that in the notes and in the post and everything. But just thank you again, Judd. True honor, and definitely will follow up and want to be involved as much as possible. Thank you for what you're doing and for all you're doing to spread the positive, man. It's really amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Can I finish with a quote?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the quote, man. One job over here.
John Morley says, "No man can climb out from beyond the limitations of his own character."
Whoa.
How's that?
Say that one more time.
John Morley, he says, "No man can climb out from beyond the limitations of his own character."
That is deep and super accurate. Yep. Spread the positive, man. That's what that translates to me, man. But thank you, Judd. Thank you for everything. We'll jump off here, and thanks for everything, dude.
Thanks.